Now, we already know what is in this $1.9 trillion stimulus package. However, this week is going to be the week that we know exactly how this package is going to move forward. Will we see the $1,400 stimulus checks very soon? Will we see the additional $400 in unemployment benefits? Are we going to see the $15 federal minimum wage make it into the final stimulus package? We don't know. And will we also see the inclusion of the current paid sick leave expansion? All those things are currently up in the air. Yes, chances are we see an additional $1,400 stimulus check. We also see the $400 per week for unemployment, but the other things are in question. So these are just some of the questions that a lot of people are currently having. So I want to address these really quick. Now, first, I just want to say thank you guys for watching today's video. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask them down in the comment section below. I use your questions so that I can answer them in video form if I don't get a chance to actually comment. So just want to thank you guys for that. And also, if you could do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. It really does help out the channel. So here's what we know. That yes, the $15 minimum wage will impact almost every single person in this country. A lot of people say $15 minimum wage, that doesn't impact me because I make more than $15 per hour. And that could be true. But here's what you need to understand. If the wages actually increase, no matter where it is in the country, chances are the business owner will have to raise their prices. So for me, for an example, just one of the things that I like to do, I buy a lot of products from, different states. And I do that because, well, one, sometimes I don't get the products that I really want or really need here in my home state. So if I buy a product from the South and it normally costs me, let's say, $15 shipped, chances are that product's now going to cost me $16 to possibly $17 shipped because I'm going to have to pay a little bit more for that exact same product. So if you're saying that no, a $15 federal minimum wage will not impact you, I guarantee you we will feel the impacts from this all across the country. And as far as the $1,400 stimulus checks, these are still getting pushback. Some people say, and this is mostly progressives, they are saying that no, that they do not want to see an income threshold limit here. They do not want to cut it off at $100,000 for individuals and $200,000 for a couple. They say this is not right, that we need to have the exact same income limit thresholds that we had in the last two stimulus packages. We are also hearing from some that say, no, we do not need to have such a high limit. We need to be more strict. We need to have more targeted stimulus at this point because we are wasting money on things that we will not see back. So we will see what happens there. But progressives and moderates are going to have a debate. The debate will most likely start tomorrow, and it will really lead on into the next couple of weeks. So again, we will see what happens, but my prediction is we will see some changes. This is not going to be the final bill. So if you didn't get a chance to see what is actually in this bill, I will link to a few of my videos down in the description box below. So make sure you go and watch those, and it will kind of catch you up to speed on what we are going to see. Now, according to Politico did a report, actually did a article just a little while ago. They are saying that the House Budget Committee is preparing for their markup on Monday afternoon. So in less than 24 hours, the House Budget Committee is going to be doing a meeting, and they will plan their markup session there. Now, if things go as planned, then the House is expected, according to Politico, they are expected to vote on this bill sometime Friday afternoon or Saturday afternoon in order to pass this $1.9 trillion relief bill. Now, I call it a relief bill because in the bill, so it's a 591-page bill, and I simply did Command F to go and find certain words, and I typed in stimulus just to see how many times they actually call this stimulus. And guess what? It's mentioned 0 times. 0 times in this so-called stimulus package. It's mentioned 0 times. They call it direct payments, and they call it relief. Relief was mentioned quite a few times. So the chances of this bill actually getting passed by sometime earlier this week is actually pretty much nothing. We will not see this bill voted on earlier this week, so a vote will happen sometime at the end of this week, which means then it can finally be kicked over to the Senate, and that will happen in a little over a week and a half. Now, once this happens, the chances of passing this bill in the House are extremely high. There is nobody out there that currently believes this will not pass through the House. Everybody expects it will. So, my guess is where this is going to see some pushback is going to be in the Senate. However, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he says that the Senate will be ready for this bill. He also went on to say that he is open to hearing Republicans' amendments and critique of this bill. And he says, and I quote, "If Republicans are ready to work with Democrats on constructive amendments that will improve the bill, we are ready to work. However, we must not allow Republican obstructionism to deter us from our mission of delivering help to Americans who desperately need this relief." And I think he is going to get some good ideas. He's going to get some constructive amendments. He's going to get some improvements from Republicans. However, is Chuck Schumer, and I'm going to tell you this right now, but is Chuck Schumer one of those people that will take this criticism, take these improvements from a Republican and stick it into the bill? Absolutely not. He is not one of those people. Chuck Schumer knows, as does Nancy Pelosi, and Bernie Sanders has been very vocal about this, is Democrats have to be very careful because the last two times they have held the majority in the House, the Senate, and had a Democratic president, after 2 years they lost that power. Republicans come swarming back and regain control over the House and the Senate. So Bernie Sanders says we have to be very careful. So what I can tell you right now is if Republicans come in with just a great idea, a really solid idea, solid amendment that would improve this bill and possibly make it cheaper, I can tell right now, Chuck Schumer is not going to go for this unless it's proposed by a Democrat. So he might take the idea, change it up a little bit and make it his idea. That's quite possible, but this is going to take more time. Also, on Friday, President Biden reiterated something very similar to what Chuck Schumer just said. President Biden said that he's open to hearing more ideas and new ideas. And if we can make this package better and cheaper, then he is open to hear those ideas. And that's really good to hear. But what we know right now is that this package is not the final version. Even though I have been doing videos, separate videos by the way. Again, if you haven't seen any of those videos, I discuss the details of this entire bill, or a good portion of this bill, the main parts to this bill. That is the $1,400 stimulus checks, which I did a complete video on that on Friday. I went over the $3,500 or $3,600 child tax credits. I went over the $400 per week for unemployment benefits. And then earlier today, I went over SNAP benefits and the pandemic EBT. If you didn't get a chance to watch any of those videos, I will link to every single one of those down in the description box below. So make sure you go and watch those to kind of catch you up to speed on what we could potentially see, not only this week, but also next week as well. So again, all those links will be down in the description box below if you want to see them. But remember, this bill has a long ways to go. Even though we are 3 weeks away from the March 14th deadline. And I call this the deadline, and this is what a lot of lawmakers are calling the deadline, because March 14th is the day that the unemployment insurance benefits actually expire. This is the 11 weeks. This is what Republicans and Democrats agreed to back in December when they agreed to 11 weeks of unemployment extension. The problem with this is, and this is what we called out before, is that by doing this and cutting off in the middle of March, this is not a great time to be getting a stimulus package done or a relief bill done, because the IRS is going to be dealing with the tax returns. As of right now, they're already in the middle of dealing with tax returns. And we still have 3 weeks to go until the deadline. And then after that, we still have another, 1 month to go before the actual April 15th deadline for your tax return. So we knew this going in, but Republicans didn't want to push it back to the end of April like we probably should have. And Democrats simply agreed to it. So right now, it's not just Republicans that we can blame or just Democrats. It's both parties. Both parties have put us in this situation, and it's not a great situation to currently be in. So we will see what happens over the next few weeks. But as of right now, if we see Senate progressives hold out in order to get more direct payments, and when I say more direct payments, I'm talking about more for the $1,400 stimulus check. I don't think it's going to go up any higher. It's going to stay at $1,400. It's not going to go lower. Won't be any higher. It's not going to be monthly for sure. They could fight for to try to get the $600 for adult dependents, because that hasn't been actually given out as of right now. So, and that's not in the bill, but we could see Senate progressives fight for adult dependents to get them that retroactive $600. As of right now, it's not in the bill. And if we see Senate progressives fight for more direct payments, and this could also include unemployment pay as well, go from $400 to $600, or go from $400 and then also do a $100 retroactive payment all the way back to December 27th, we could see that. And if this happens, this is going to make stimulus and the talks take a little bit longer. We also, if we see Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Kyrsten Sinema object to the $15 federal minimum wage, if this is ruled in favor of Democrats and this can pass through the Senate parliamentarians rule, then we could see, again, if they object to this, we could see that the deal doesn't entirely fall apart, but we could see Democrats have to go back to the drawing board to kind of figure out, do we want to raise other provisions, or are we fine with, okay, we'll just scrap the $15 federal minimum wage at this time and we'll pass it later on? Some are saying yes, but Nancy Pelosi has been very tight-lipped about what they plan on doing if it doesn't get passed through the Senate. So we'll see what happens there. And if we see new proposals, and this is a big one, and this is one that could take a little bit of time. If we see new proposals, mainly from Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren, those are the two that we would see these new proposals from. And my guess is we might see some new amendments or new proposals from Republicans in the Senate as well. However, Chuck Schumer can pretty much say, no, we're not going to do that. We're not even going to deal with it. We're not even going to discuss it. We won't debate it. We're not going to pass it. But Chuck Schumer with his own bills, my guess is he could potentially, depending on what President Biden has told him, we could see Chuck Schumer propose a school loan forgiveness up to anywhere from $10,000 per student to $50,000 per student. President Biden says he's open to $10,000, but it has to pass through Congress. And this would be the first step. Also, he wants to do additional funding for restaurants. I believe this is $15 or $25 billion for restaurants. This would be strictly for restaurants that have been hardest hit. So if we see Chuck Schumer go and propose these different amendments, we could see that this push takes it a little bit longer. This should not only have to go, we'd have to debate this in the Senate. He'd have to get enough people on board, which I think he would, but then it would have to go back to the House, and it would have to pass through the House as well. They might have to do a little bit of a markup there as well, and then it would have to go to President Biden. If it's for $50,000 in student loan forgiveness, President Biden might just say, we're not going to pass it. I'm going to veto this bill, and I need you guys to go back and amend this. So we'll see what happens there. And I know a lot of people are upset that why are Democrats taking so long? Why are they taking so long when they have all the power and they can just push things through? And we've known this for over a month, that Democrats can just push things through, and us, the American people, are going to sit back and just wait to see what happens. Well, the truth is that they're taking their time because they understand that this is their chance to provide the relief that they were not able to provide, a couple months ago, and also in the spring. When Nancy Pelosi and Democrats proposed the HEROES Act for $3.4 trillion, they are trying their best to get as much stimulus as they can. So we will see what happens. But if Democrats don't get all their provisions in this bill, then some experts are saying that this might be a missed opportunity. And even Nancy Pelosi has stated that she does not want to miss an opportunity to get the relief that the American people need. So just be prepared that we could see additional proposals. And if this happens, then this will most likely happen in the Senate. It could take a potential, additional, 3, maybe even a week And if it does, again, it's going to push stimulus back. So right now, everybody is currently predicting we will see this package pass before March 14th. But if it doesn't, I currently predict we will not have to wait any longer than March 26th. That is the day I am anticipating we will see this pass. So just want to be, upfront with you guys. I am hoping that we get more news out this week, early this week as well. But as I know more, I promise I'll share more. So if you can, consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.